What if I told you Canada's biggest discount grocery chain was caught fixing bread prices for 14 years and paid the largest antitrust settlement in Canadian history? I spent the last month investigating No Frills stores across Canada, talking to customers, analyzing pricing data, and digging into what's really happening behind those yellow price tags. Here's the truth. No Frills isn't always frills free, and discount doesn't always mean what you think it means. From produce that rots before it hits your fridge to pricing strategies that actually cost you more money, there's a lot happening at Canada's so-called discount leader that they'd rather you didn't know about. I'm counting down 8 critical things every Canadian shopper needs to understand before stepping foot in another No Frills. Some of these will surprise you, others might make you angry, but all of them will help you make smarter decisions about where your hard-earned money goes. Let's start with number 8. Number 8, the fresh produce problem that's costing you money. Let's talk about something that thousands of Canadian shoppers are experiencing. No Frills fresh produce quality crisis. Across review sites like Trustpilot and consumer forums, the complaints are remarkably consistent. Customers report buying strawberries that turn moldy within 24 hours, bananas that rot the next day, cucumbers that literally liquefy in your hand, salad greens that are already slimy in the package. One shopper from the Derry McLaughlin location in Ontario reported, "Recently, fruits like strawberries, berries, and bananas get rotten the next day. Same for salad." Another customer described picking up cucumbers from a discount rack only to have them liquefy in their hand. Even at 50% off, they said the produce wasn't worth buying. Here's what's happening. No Frills operates on razor-thin margins, and produce is one of the first places where corners get cut. They're sourcing lower-grade produce, keeping it in storage longer, and hoping customers won't notice until they get home. The real kicker? In 2024, No Frills introduced a Fresh Promise guarantee. If your produce isn't fresh, they'll replace and refund it. But ask yourself this, why would a grocery store need such an aggressive guarantee unless they knew they had a serious freshness problem? Based on hundreds of customer reviews, many shoppers report that when they try to use this guarantee, they face resistance from staff or are told to just accept a replacement without the refund. For Canadian families on tight budgets, buying produce that goes bad within 24 hours isn't saving money. It's throwing money directly in the garbage. Number 7, the discount pricing illusion. Here's something that'll make you think twice about those yellow price tags. No Frills isn't always the cheapest option, even though their entire brand is built on being the discount leader. Multiple price comparison studies conducted in 2023 and 2024 tell a surprising story. When Narciide compared identical grocery baskets from No Frills, Food Basics, and Walmart, No Frills came in at $67.63. Food Basics was slightly cheaper at $64.18, and Walmart just $58.40. That's nearly a $10 difference for the exact same groceries. Walmart was consistently cheaper than No Frills on most items, despite No Frills marketing itself as Canada's discount grocery leader. When you compare No Frills to FreshCo, another discount chain, the prices are remarkably similar, and sometimes FreshCo wins. The difference is that FreshCo has a lowest price guarantee, where they'll beat any competitor's price by 1 cent, while No Frills price matching policy varies wildly by location. Here's what customers are saying. The prices at No Frills are getting competitive with Sobeys, and it wasn't worth shopping there, especially with fresher produce at competitor stores. Another shopper noted, cream, milk, and virtually all the main staple foods were more expensive than literally everywhere else. So what's really going on? No Frills relies heavily on their brand perception. Canadians have been conditioned for decades to believe No Frills equals cheap. But in 2024, that reputation is doing more work than their actual pricing. The lesson? Don't assume No Frills is saving you money. Check your receipt, compare prices. You might be surprised at how much you're actually overpaying for that discount experience. Number 6, the multi-buy elimination that's not really helping. In July 2024, No Frills made a big announcement. They were eliminating multi-buy promotions, those buy two for $5 deals, and moving to everyday low pricing on individual items. They claimed this would make shopping easier and more affordable than ever before. Sounds great, right? Finally, you don't have to buy 3 yogurts just to get the sale price. But here's what they're not telling you. This change happened right after Loblaw's bread price fixing scandal settlement and during the height of a consumer boycott against Loblaw-owned stores. The timing wasn't coincidental, it was damage control. And the bigger question is, did prices actually go down, or did No Frills just eliminate the deals and keep prices where they were? Food industry experts like Dr. Sylvain Charlebois from Dalhousie University warned volume discounting accommodated both retailers and suppliers with excess inventories. This decision suggests the supply chain environment may have changed. Translation: No Frills might have eliminated multi-buy deals, not to help customers, but because their supply chain was already strained and they couldn't afford to offer those discounts anymore. Customer reactions were skeptical. One shopper noted they'd rather sell garbage than lower prices. Another said, "The rotten stuff in my city is sold for full price. They just try to shift it in the bins so it isn't noticeable." The reality, for single people or small households, eliminating multi-buy deals was genuinely helpful. But for families who actually needed to buy in bulk, it often meant losing out on savings. Number 5, the franchise model that creates wildly inconsistent experiences. Here's something most No Frills shoppers don't realize. Most No Frills locations aren't actually run by Loblaw. They're independently owned franchises. This matters more than you might think. While Loblaw sets corporate policies and provides the branding, individual franchise owners have significant control over their stores, including staffing levels, store cleanliness, stock rotation, and even which products they choose to carry. This is why you'll have a great experience at one No Frills location and a terrible one at another location just a few kilometers away. One customer review from Cedar Hills, BC, described their local No Frills as beyond gross. The parking lot and entrance is overflowing with garbage. The produce area has wet lettuce and greens scattered all over the floor, a slipping hazard for sure. Meanwhile, another shopper in Mississauga praised their No Frills as one of the best stores in the chain. Very clean and tidy, always well stocked and properly shelved. The franchise model creates massive quality control issues. Some franchise owners invest in their stores and treat customers well. Others cut every possible corner to maximize profit. For you as a shopper, this means you can't rely on the No Frills brand to guarantee a consistent experience. You need to evaluate your specific local store, and if it's not up to par, you might be better off shopping elsewhere. Number 4, the bread price fixing scandal that shook consumer trust. Let's talk about something that fundamentally changed how Canadians view Loblaw and No Frills, the bread price fixing scandal. In December 2017, Loblaw publicly admitted that it participated in an industry-wide price-fixing arrangement to artificially inflate the price of packaged bread. For 14 years, from 2001 to 2015, Loblaw, along with bread suppliers and other retailers, conspired to coordinate bread price increases across Canada. For No Frills shoppers, the betrayal cut deeper. You chose No Frills specifically to save money, and the company you trusted was actively working to overcharge you. Court documents revealed how the scheme worked. Bread suppliers would coordinate with retailers like No Frills to ensure that none of them would undercut the others on pricing. The document specifically noted that conspiring to increase the price of bread was particularly difficult among discount retailers like No Frills, because none of them wanted to be the first to implement the price increase. In July 2024, Loblaw and parent company George Weston agreed to pay $500 million to settle class action lawsuits, the largest antitrust settlement in Canadian history. Canadians who bought bread between 2001 and 2021 from No Frills and other Loblaw stores can claim compensation. The deadline is December 12, 2024, and claimants are expected to receive between $50 and $100. But here's the real question. If Loblaw was willing to fix prices on bread for 14 years, what else might they be doing that we don't know about yet? Number 3, the understaffing crisis that affects food safety walk into most No Frills locations today, and you'll notice something immediately. There aren't many staff members around. This isn't an accident. It's a deliberate strategy. No Frills has always operated on a low labor model. It's literally part of their business plan. Fewer employees means lower costs, which theoretically means lower prices for customers. But there's a darker side to understaffing that directly impacts you: food safety. Customer complaints are remarkably consistent. Long wait times at checkout. Self-checkouts that malfunction with no staff to help. Produce sections that aren't monitored or restocked properly. Meat and dairy sections where temperature control becomes questionable because there's nobody checking. One customer reported management was not in and not enough staff. My frozen stuff was melting and all the cashier said was sorry. Another shopper described walking into a No Frills and finding no staff at checkouts at all. I knocked on the office door to see if anyone was working. But here's where it gets serious. When stores are understaffed, food safety protocols suffer. Stock rotation slows down, meaning expired products stay on shelves longer. Temperature monitoring becomes inconsistent. Cleanliness standards slip. Remember all those complaints about rotten produce? Understaffing is a major contributor. When there aren't enough employees to properly monitor and rotate stock, you end up with bad products making it to the sales floor, and eventually to your home. Number 2, the stock and availability problem that wastes your time. Here's a frustration that nearly every No Frills shopper has experienced: seeing an amazing deal in the flyer, rushing to the store, and finding the shelves completely empty. No Frills has a notorious reputation for poor stock management. Sale items routinely sell out on the first day of the promotion. Staple products mysteriously disappear for weeks at a time. One customer reported, "I wanted to pick up strawberries, Diet Pepsi, and wild sockeye salmon advertised in the flyer. I couldn't find any of these items. When I asked for rain checks, I was told, 'We don't issue rain checks.' No apology, just that statement." Multiple customers echo similar experiences. Items advertised prominently in flyers are sold out or never stocked in the first place. And until recently, No Frills didn't even offer rain checks to compensate for out-of-stock sale items. That changed in October 2024, when No Frills finally introduced a rain check policy, but only after competitor Freshco had been offering rain checks plus 10% back for years. Even now, the rain checks are only valid for 14 days, and many customers report that stores are reluctant to actually issue them. Here's what this means for you. Every time you go to No Frills for a specific sale item, there's a real chance you'll waste your time and gas money for nothing. You'll either leave empty-handed or settle for a more expensive alternative that wasn't even on your list. For people carefully planning their grocery budgets around flyer deals, this isn't just inconvenient, it's financially damaging. Number 1, the pricing strategy that makes you think you're saving when you're not. And here we are at number 1, the biggest issue with No Frills, and the one that affects every single person who shops there. No Frills has built their entire brand on one promise: lowest prices. That bright yellow branding, the No Frills name, the bare bones store design, it all screams cheap. And for decades, that reputation was largely deserved. But in 2024, something has fundamentally changed. No Frills is increasingly relying on brand perception rather than actual competitive pricing. Here's how the strategy works. No Frills operates on what's called price anchoring. They offer genuinely good deals on a handful of high-visibility items, milk, eggs, bread, that customers notice and remember. These loss leaders create the impression that everything in the store is cheap. But when you actually compare prices across the entire store, No Frills is often more expensive than alternatives, sometimes significantly more expensive. The Narcidi price comparison I mentioned earlier isn't an outlier. Multiple studies and consumer experiments have shown that No Frills frequently loses to Walmart, and sometimes even to Freshco and Food Basics, on overall basket pricing. Yet customers keep shopping there because of the brand perception. It's No Frills, so it must be cheap. That psychological association does more work than the actual prices. Even Loblaw's own corporate strategy acknowledges this. In 2024, Loblaw has been aggressively expanding No Frills locations, opening 40 new discount stores, while simultaneously launching an even cheaper concept called no-name stores that promise prices up to 20% lower than No Frills. Think about that. Loblaw is openly admitting that No Frills isn't actually the cheapest option anymore. They had to create a new ultra-discount brand to compete with truly budget-focused competitors. For you as a shopper, this is the wake-up call you need. Stop assuming No Frills is saving you money. Start actually checking. Compare your receipts. Track prices on the items you buy regularly. Use the price match policy when it's available. Look, I'm not telling you to never shop at No Frills again. That's not the point here. Some No Frills locations are genuinely well run, have good prices, and provide a solid shopping experience. Others, not so much. The point is this: don't shop on autopilot. Don't assume that because it's called No Frills, you're automatically getting the best deal. Don't trust the yellow price tags without actually verifying the savings. Here's what smart Canadian shoppers should be doing. First, identify which stores in your area actually have the best prices. Do a price comparison yourself on the items you buy most often. It takes an hour, but it'll save you hundreds of dollars over the year. Second, if you do shop at No Frills, know your rights. Use the fresh promise. Guarantee when produce is bad. Demand rain checks when sale items are out of stock. Use the price match policy if your location offers it. Third, diversify where you shop. No single store is cheapest on everything. Strategic shopping across multiple stores, based on actual prices, not brand perception, is how you truly save money. Fourth, inspect everything before you buy it. Check those produce dates. Smell that chicken. Look at those dairy expiration dates. Don't assume that because it's in the store, it's fresh. The Canadian grocery market has changed dramatically in the last few years. Prices have skyrocketed, competition has intensified, and stores that used to be reliable discount options are now cutting corners in ways that affect the quality of what you're buying. You deserve better than rotten strawberries, deceptive pricing, and empty shelves where the sale items should be. So before you head to No Frills this week, ask yourself, am I shopping here because it's actually cheaper or just because I think it's cheaper? That's a question worth answering. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening at No Frills, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below and tell me about your No Frills experiences, good or bad. Have you noticed the produce quality issues, the pricing discrepancies, the stock problems, and if you found this helpful, share it with your friends and family. Every Canadian deserves to know where their grocery dollars are really going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.